Delco. What is Delco? Urban Dictionary, maybe the best definition of any place in the history of any place. Delco is the nickname for Delaware County. Not just a place to live, it's a way of life. Delco isn't something you obtain with a short visit while you're passing through. Never has been, or don't actually live here, you just won't understand. Delco is something you can spot across the bar while out of town. Speaking of bars, there's 42-to-1 ratio when it comes to bars to libraries. Delco people love being from Delco. I don't know if there's anything special from Delco, except being a Delco guy, I kind of like it.
What is up, Delaware County? Welcome back for another high school baseball preview episode. Brendan Ricciardi here with Garnet Valley. We got Ryan McGhee, Harrison Maull, Cole Lombardo, Coach Shiller coming on a little later. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Doing good. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. All right, well, before we dive into 2026, I'd love to talk a little bit about last season. You know, you guys won a playoff game, had a pretty good year. I'd love to hear about your thoughts, how it went overall, just positives and negatives, just your takeaways from last year.
I think last year went really well. I mean, end of the season, we had some injuries, but we worked through it. And I feel like it got cut a little short. You know, we had a very good lineup, but I think we did really well with what we had at the end of the year.
I think we had a lot of key guys that have been around for a very long time. And, we knew how to work together. And then Shiller got injured. Thompson got injured. There were a lot of guys battling injuries throughout the entire season. But I think we put together what we needed to and got through the playoffs how we kind of wanted, but it got cut off short.
Yeah, obviously, like them two said, Shiller and Thompson getting hurt may have killed us in the long run, but we got a lot of returning guys from last year that know how to get through that adversity. So I think we can just be as good as last year or even better this year.
So how are you guys kind of able to rally around that? Because it's not easy, two of your best hitters to go down like that. How are you guys kind of able to come together, get those younger guys who maybe didn't think their role was going to be quite as big and get them that big experience playing in those playoff games?
Yeah, so really the younger guys, they've always been around us. Every year we make sure we're tight-knit, so they know that they need to be ready when they come up. And I felt really confident that those guys were going to show up and play. I mean, I had full confidence in them that they could step up to the plate.
Yeah, just like McGhee said, even starting the season, Gordon started catching and he was phenomenal behind the plate. He didn't get as many opportunities hitting, but he was a dog behind the plate. Like, that's exactly what we needed. And, Yao stepping up in the playoffs with Shiller and Thompson hurt, even Tom Acosta coming up, they filled their roles really well and they had the confidence to do it, which is really impressive.
Yeah, to add on to that, I think we had a lot of, almost half of our lineup was different from start to end. We had Cole Hoffaker that didn't start. He was starting in the playoffs. Ashton Yao. Zach Gordon was a freshman. I mean, besides our infield, I think everybody was injured last year, so it didn't help us a lot.
All right, well, transitioning to 2026, how close are we to the turf? do we have any idea?
Unknown status.
I mean, I know the snow has probably been brutal for that.
God, yeah.
I talked to our athletic director, Mr. Bruner. He said end of May. So
A little playoff run?
maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
That would be pretty fun if you guys have a late playoff game. You can get on it for the first
we
time.
had a varsity meeting, and he was saying how he's going to push all of our away games to the beginning of the season. So
I did see that. Yeah,
hopefully by the end we can have that field.
Well, our first game of the week, you guys, I guess it'll be at Haverford now. Are you going to keep playing at the elementary school or more MSI this year?
I think more elementary school, but
Yeah.
are we going to try to get some MSI games in
I mean,
there?
it seems like a pretty solid field. I never got out. I saw it on Game Changer. It seems like it gets the job done at least.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about heading into this year. Are you guys in tryouts right now, or
Yeah, we're finishing up this week.
so how have just any off-season workouts been? Just tryouts as a whole. What's the kind of what have you guys noticed just from watching the team come together?
Yeah, so we start around Thanksgiving in our winter workouts, and 6 a.m. is when we get up and do it. So a lot of guys come out for me, the first one, but then we just get really close there, and I've seen a lot of guys really develop since last year, and I'm really excited to see it.
Are those at the school?
Yeah, at the school.
Yeah, just like McGhee said, all of our young guys are really maturing athletically and even off the field. Again, Zach Gordon, he put on a lot of weight. He worked his tail off. He's really in this to be as good as he can. And even, or last season struggled a little bit. Feel like he's back. He had a UCL injury on his left arm from football. You wouldn't even notice it. He looks really good.
Zach Nick's brother.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you can tell who wants it. If you're showing up at 6 a.m, getting your work in, coaching staff notices like who wants to be on varsity, who wants a starting job this year.
Well, you guys are ready for college with the 6 a.m. workouts. That's for sure. So from a pitching perspective, you have your 2 top arms back. Obviously, Ryan, yourself, and Dylan was a big part of the rotation last year. So how confident are you guys going into the season now, knowing you've had that full season when going into last year you weren't too experienced yet?
I'm fully confident in our pitching staff this year, especially if we're coming back. And we have a few younger guys and a senior this year, Connor Criswell. I'm really excited to see them pitch. Connor dipped his beak last year and did pretty well. So I'm really excited.
Who else do you guys think maybe could step in and contribute some innings?
I would say Asher, because last year he threw at a couple of scrimmages, and I think he pitched in a couple of games last year. And he throws strikes. Like, all you got to do in high school baseball, you got to throw strikes. Like, you got to just pitch for an out. Like, if they hit a ground ball, we're fielding it. If they hit a fly ball, we're fielding it.
Obviously, got a good infield.
I would like to say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But those pitch to contact guys like really help us a lot, because I feel like we have a really good like fielding team, and like helps a lot.
Before we move on to the next topic, watch out for Colton Turner this year.
Yeah.
Going to be a big arm for us that you probably haven't heard.
What year?
Junior.
Well, back-to-back breakout player of the years. That could be.
Sneaky guy.
So a little more continuity on the mound. A couple new faces on offense. Obviously, Chris is gone. Brady's gone. Nolan Carroll's gone. My guy, Barrett game MVP, Joe Anzalone's gone. Talk to me about who you expect to kind of step into those roles on offense and be a big part of the lineup outside of you guys.
I think a huge secret weapon we have is Cole Hoffacker. He stepped up last year in the playoffs, and he's been working his tail off at Ascent, and I can definitely see a lot of improvement out of him. So watch out.
He's going to one of the Penn State schools, I believe.
Penn State Abington.
There's too many branch schools to keep track of. Everyone should go play club instead. But yeah, same question to you guys. Just any players that maybe, whether that be coming up from JV or maybe were on varsity and didn't play quite as much.
A couple of guys that you could see step up this year are names you already know, like Dylan Orr and Kyle Klein, that maybe didn't have the seasons that like they expected or wanted last year. I think they're going to step up, and you could see them first or second team All Central this year just by their bats, and you also see them on the mound.
Ashton Yao has been working his tail off, and Titus, and I've been hitting with him, and he's grown a lot. Brandon Capone, he's been in the weight room. He gained like 20 pounds in like 5 months. So like he's been at it, and like you can tell that these kids like really want it and are trying to get their spot that they're really fighting for.
Unfortunately, I did too, but probably not the same weight that he did. So I don't know if you guys are officially captains, but how do you feel about kind of having more of a leadership role? I'm guessing, kind of going into last year, Ryan, you probably weren't too much of a vocal leader. Harrison, you've been on the team since you were a freshman. Yep. Have you as well? So like you guys have all these years of experience. How do you kind of feel about having more of that vocal role?
Yeah, so I'm captain of the hockey team, and just being more vocal and commanding the team, it's just awesome because I kept my head down, I worked hard, and it shows. It pays off, and people respect that, and they respect what you have to say. And a lot of the younger guys, they'll listen to you. They listen to you. They want to learn. They want to get better just so they can be in my spot. So,
yeah, just like Ryan said, like young guys, whatever you do, they're gonna do. Like if you're a senior leader, if you're walking everywhere, they're gonna walk right behind you. If you're slacking off during practice, they're gonna slack off during practice. So like setting the example and doing what you're supposed to do, they're gonna follow. And then once they get into your spot, then they're gonna lead the same way that you do.
Yeah, as a captain this year, I think like as the previous 3 years, I've seen different vibes from each captain, and this year I want to try to like have as much fun as possible and take all the pressure away from the younger guys and the whole team as a whole. I think like once you take that pressure away, everybody plays a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Baseball is the worst sport to be either A, in your head, or B, just like, feeling the weight coming down on you for sure. All right, let's talk a little bit about college baseball. Cole, you'll be heading up to New York, St. Bonnie's, Division I baseball. Talk to me about your recruiting process, because I know while playing with Wayne this summer, you told me a little bit about some of the schools, but what was the deciding factor for you there?
My recruiting process, it started off a little bit slow and then picked up beginning of the summer, I started getting a lot of looks from like the mid-major to high D2s, and I wasn't getting any offers. And then my first offer was from Westchester, and then I started getting other PSACs, and then I eventually got St. Bonnie's in probably July, and I gave it like a month to see what else I got, and that's when I didn't want to wait too long and made my decision.
Have you visited up there yet?
Yeah, I visited in May before I had an offer, and then I went for my official in August, right before I committed.
Cool. Right. You'll be staying a little closer to home, going to Holy Family, which I know it's in Philly. I don't know exactly where it is. But what was your process like? Because I know you had committed somewhere else first, correct?
Yeah. So it's in Northeast Philly. I previously committed to LaSalle University up by Boston, and it was a great school, but coaching changed, and the coach asked me to go to another college, and I just thought maybe I'd reach back out to Holy Family. They were my number 2 school, and Thomas Jefferson was my number 1, but that didn't work out. So yeah, Holy Family, it's just a great program. I mean, they reached out to me, and Coach Shiller actually coached the head coach there, so I was able to get up there for a practice and all that, and it was just everything I wanted.
A couple local guys. I know Jack Redding from Bonner's there.
Yeah.
They're pretty new in like maybe their second year back.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So that's cool. You get to kind of help build it up. Harrison, you're going JUCO, JUCO Bandit, Tennessee, correct?
Yeah.
Volunteer State. I'm very curious about how you got connected there because not exactly right around the corner.
Yeah. So my summer coach, his son, coached there. He was their pitching coach, and then he left like I guess 2 years later. So we were in Atlanta actually. We were playing in Hoover. Or sorry, Alabama. We were playing in Hoover, and I'm about to go home, and my coach calls me, and he's like, "Hey, like I want you to visit this school. I think this is a really good opportunity for you." So me and my mom took the rental car, drove to Nashville. We did a little workout there, visited the school, and I really liked it. I really loved the coach. And I thought it was my best option just to grow and like get better from there.
Ready to just be gritty?
Absolutely.
Be a true JUCO Bandit?
Absolutely.
I love it. We'll be joined by Coach Shiller in a moment here, but what do you guys have to say about just, playing for him and the culture he's built at Garnet Valley and just what it's like, playing here?
Oh, yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, he's built something really amazing here, and he doesn't put a lot of pressure on us while we're on the field or anything. He waits till after we're done with our outing or at practice to really hammer us home and tell us what we could do. And I just love how he coaches.
Yeah, I feel like he taught me how to be mature after things go wrong. I remember my freshman year, my first game, I struck out 3 times against a really good pitcher, and I was just so mad. And I get back in the dugout, and I'm like super pissed. And he comes up to me, and he was like, "Take a walk down the line, put your head down, say whatever you want to say to yourself quietly, and then walk back and come back with a clean slate." And I feel like that's like really made me a more mature player and just obviously a better player because when I go back in the field, clean slate.
I think he really tries to give like all the keys to the players to make sure they try to mature on their own before he steps in. So even if you make a mistake once, maybe he won't say anything so you can try and fix it yourself. But if you keep making the same mistake, he'll definitely correct you and make sure that going along the right path.
They're just saying that because you're here. All right, last question for you guys. In order to accomplish your goals, trying to go after the Central League, go make a deeper run in districts, just give me one key or one thing that maybe you're trying to emphasize to the rest of your guys that you need to work, not even necessarily work on, just focus on for this year.
Really just starting rallies and hitting. I mean, we're not really going to have a deep ball this year, and we're focusing on really racking together hits, doing what we can to move runners around bases, steal as much bases, steal as much hits as possible.
I think it starts with the scrimmages. Like, I feel like in past years, we've been like, it's just a scrimmage, doesn't matter. To me, every single game matters. Like, you have to go hard every single game. And even like playing the not as good teams in the Central League, you can't go in and be like, we're going to beat this team for sure. Like, you got to give it 100% and score as many runs as you can and pitch your full ability. I feel like if we do that, we're golden.
I really like what Ryan said. I don't think anybody should be trying to do too much, even though like you might look as some of us as like the top hitters in the league. We're all doing the same thing: getting on base, stealing a bag, everybody's got to have the same role, and that'll get some runs on the board for us.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming in. Appreciate your time, and I guess we'll see you guys March 18th. Hopefully,
Thank you.
hopefully
Thank
the
you.
weather
Appreciate it.
cooperates
Yes.
with
Thanks,
that.
Brendan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are also joined here by Garnet Valley head coach Rudy Shiller. Coach,
It was
thanks
nice
for coming
to meet
on.
you.
How
Yeah,
you
nice
doing?
to meet you, Brendan.
Appreciate you guys taking the time. So what number season is this for you as the head coach of Garnet Valley?
So this is my 20th season as the head coach. I was the assistant coach for 2 years under Mike Kratzel. His nephew was on the team. You remember him?
Yep, he was on the show.
Yeah.
That's right.
And before that, I coached 1 year of softball at Garnet Valley. And I got there because I'm a teacher there. So I've been teaching at Garnet Valley for 25 years now.
So who else will be joining you on the staff? Any new additions, mostly returning?
It's the same staff we've had for now. This will be probably our third or fourth year together. And Coach Dean, who's been with me about 15 years. I had Coach Saboja. He came over from the middle school. He used to be the middle school coach, taught at the middle school, is now teaching math at the high school. So he joined our staff. And then we have a young coach, Coach Clem. He's only 26 years old. He's a chemistry coach. He brings the energy. And I love having a young guy on the staff that brings that kind of energy.
Well, I don't know if Coach Dean remembers me, but I worked at these Phillies baseball camps. It was about 110 degrees. They made us wear the Phillies
The
pants.
Phillies uniform.
Well, they not yet. I don't mind the jersey, but making you wear the pants when it was 100 degrees out there was brutal.
I did it also. I did it
oh,
before
yeah?
him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I worked for them also.
Well, kind of like with your players, I'd love to kind of start off just talking about last season, what your takeaways were, the positives and the negatives from, as your guys mentioned, a pretty banged up group at different times.
It was. And it gave some other guys opportunities. And in the beginning of the year, like I said, if you had told me that these guys were going to be hurt and these guys weren't going to play, I would never have thought we'd be able to have the year that we did. So there were a lot of guys that stepped up. The coach is in the beginning of the year, we had 3 senior pitchers, and we all said if 2 of those 3 have the years they're capable of having, we're going to be really good. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because of some crazy injuries, but it gave other guys opportunities. And like we talk about Ryan a lot, and I said, Ryan, we are expected him to pitch against the second tier teams. That wasn't, now no longer could happen. He wound up jumping right in to the fire against the best teams, and man, he really blossomed as the year went along.
So how valuable was it to get those 2 playoff game experiences for this young group of guys who, going into the year, you might not have thought they were going to have those type of roles?
Yeah, playoff baseball, I tell everyone, it's so much fun. It's always one and done, and every pitch matters, every at bat. You can't take any off. You have to be focused the entire time, and it's so different. And I remember kids tell me that I bring up from JV to watch. They're like, "This is so unbelievable how intense this is." And I said, "Yeah, the games are like this." And ours was our last one was no different. And they all got to realize how, wow, what a game! Extra innings, a walk-off walk. It was a 2-1 game. We had the opportunities to win it. They threw a guy out at home. I mean, that's great baseball. So they got some even the people who didn't play that just came, got to see what it's like and how every pitch matters. You can't take one off as a catcher. You can't let the ball get by. You can't give up a free base. And these guys, the young kids, to see them play in this type of pressure situation between Dylan Orr pitching and freshman Gordon catching and young kids in the outfield, it was really exciting. That's invaluable experience.
Yeah, no, I always like when teams bring up the guys from JV because you're right. You get to visualize, without having the pressure of going out there to be like, all right, this is what I'm expected to be next year pretty much. But all right, switching over to 2026, what have you kind of seen from the tryouts, the off-season practices, like as the team kind of comes together? What do you see kind of being the strength of the team?
So the strength of our team, and we preach this all the time, pitchers throw strikes, pitch to contact. I tell kids all the time, if you're not throwing strikes, I'm not going to throw you. I want you to pitch to contact. You pitch to contact, our defense is what it is. This year specifically, we have, all our entire infield returning except for the first baseman. We have the catcher, obviously, in the middle between Cole and Harrison. It's incredible. Turn 2, then Klein at third base. I'm so comfortable with them allowing kids to hit the baseball. And the same thing with our outfield. We have good outfield. So defense is going to be our key. You throw strikes, you're going to be in every game. Now that's where when you're in the game, now you got to find a way to score some runs.
So who do you see kind of, you have some hitters to replace, obviously Chris and Brady, who weren't here at the end of last year. So whether that be some of the guys that stepped in last year or maybe some guys coming up from JV, who do you expect to, outside of the three guys we talked to, be a part of this offense?
In replacing them is almost impossible with some of the power that those two supply. So we're trying to say, and I love to hear these guys were saying it to you about how don't do too much, get those base hits. And when Dylan Orr is a freshman, I told him when we brought him up as a freshman, and he wound up batting fourth or fifth half the year because he just put the ball in play. And I told him the same thing again. Don't try to do too much. Make sure solid contact. That's what we're looking for. So I believe Dylan Orr, Kyle Klein, Gordon, and then Hoffaker, Cole Hoffaker, all of these guys are going to take that next step. There's a couple guys that Ashton Yao, he had an opportunity to play, and when he took that opportunity, he did really well. So, there's some battles that are going to happen. So I don't have a set lineup yet, which is exciting for me because I always tell the kids, if I know who's playing, I said, then we're not competing enough. So I'm excited to see them compete and who's going to win out those extra spots.
Yeah, and we talked about before we started recording, like scheduling teams like the Haverford School. Like, how important is it to have some of these tough non-conference games before the season gets going to really just challenge these guys and let them say, hey, like, we need to see how you guys are against a really good team like that?
Yeah, and that's our goal is to do that. We're playing them, we're playing Malvern. We like to play the good schools. You want to see, hey, how good are you? And in the beginning of the year, sometimes it's tough. We were just talking earlier about that. We had great games at Haverford, and they go back and forth, and they always have good pitching, and they're always a good team. So it gives us a true test of, all right, how good can we be? And you say from there we can always grow. Our goal is always, we say it every day, let's get a little bit better today. What can we do? So we're looking forward to the challenge of playing them.
Cool. How do you feel about kind of the leadership of this group? Because as we know, Harrison's been playing a lot since a freshman. Cole's been playing a lot since he was a freshman. Like, how do you feel that they're going to kind of help set up the younger generation for the next couple of years?
And I feel like our captains have done a good job, and that's what we try to tell them, that it's their responsibility. Think about the captains that you had and the ones that you respected the most, and what made you respect them. And if you can use that as your goal, hey, I want to be like this guy. They're the first two guys. I've never had two players that have played for me for 4 years. It's the first time it's ever happened. So those guys have been around a lot. They've seen a lot. So they understand what it takes to win and what it takes to get better. And it's all about practice. And I heard them talking about it. If you work hard, they're going to work hard. I always tell you, we go as far as our senior leadership will take us.
That's impressive because you've obviously had a lot of great teams. So I went to Strathaven. I graduated 2017, and we had to face Lupoli, I think was his name, is a lefty pitcher. He diced us up. I think we ended up winning, but facing him as a lefty hitter was not very fun whatsoever. So looking around the Central League, who do you kind of view as some of like the top threats for you guys in your quest to bring home the conference championship?
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious the two teams that won last year they're returning their pitchers. Those guys, they are very good. So, I mean, we lost 2-1 to Radnor last year, and we lost 1-run game to Haverford, one of them. One of them, they beat us by 2 or something. They're always close, but those teams are very good. And Strathaven, and they're always in there. Marple. These teams are always done. What I like is most of these teams, I can't, the coach, they're all well coached. These guys have been around for a while. I tell people in our league, not every team has the most talent, but every game's hard. They're always going to find a way. They may run on you. They may try to bunt. They're going to try to find a way to win those games. Everybody competes. I said, no matter how, whether they're having a down season or not, they don't have as much talent, they'll find a way to compete against you.
Yeah, I got my fair share of bunts in high school. And for someone like me, it's pretty slow. I wasn't really expecting it going in, but that's how Feely plays for sure. Yeah. So one thing I always notice about Garnet Valley is you guys have a ton of players that go on to play in college. So how cool is it for you to kind of see these guys continue their career? I know Chris Shiller's already off to a good start at Richmond. Don Pacone got picked up by the Cardinals last year.
He's actually pitching down. I saw. It's amazing. I saw his dad today at his pizza shop, and his dad said he's gotten some innings down there. So that's real exciting. And then we have Andrew Bechtold's at the Phillies down for the Phillies. We follow a lot of those guys. I try to. We look at the guys more recent. We just looked at Shiller, Thompson, and we were excited to see how they're doing. Nolan Carroll, a lot of them that are playing now. We're looking at them, and then I'll go back and say, "Oh yeah, how about so and so?" We were just looking up Eddie, and who else did we look at? We were looking at a couple of different guys just recently, see if they're getting in, they're playing. It's really fun to follow them when they are in there. We had a couple of Cole Palace got to play first time ever that University of Penn gets to go to the tournament. So it's really fun to see those guys when they do it.
Yeah, that's why we start our like college roundup posts where we try and just like, because like we have a Google Doc with, I don't know, 150, 200 kids that just played at all the high schools, and nobody else but me, because I'm a psychopath, has the time to go through everybody and keep like the amount of people that tell us like, hey, like I don't have the time to just look up all how these guys are doing. Kevin McGonigal's made it pretty easy to find out how he's doing lately. But all right, last question for you here. Just give me one key kind of like whether it be message or something that you're trying to emphasize to your team to be successful this year.
So we do every day when we talk about this, it's like when you're here, what is it you can do today to make yourself and the team a little bit better? And if you're doing that, then everyone else is going to follow into what you're doing. And if we all do this, we're going to get better together. So our goal is let's get a little bit better today. What is it we can do? And if we follow that, well, everything else takes care of itself.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys as well for taking the time to come in. Looking forward to seeing you guys. Like I said, March 18th, first game of the week.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be here in no time.
But appreciate your time and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.